something where people can see you and can see your guests, because that makes a difference. So
yeah. Well, I feel like definitely putting something that you're...
I'm gonna.
Sorry.
You do you. I'm just gonna
okay.
adjust everything, so you're good.
Is that good?
That's perfect.
Okay,
yeah, that's good.
But I feel like if you're going to put in, how do I say this, the quality into some work.
Yeah.
You have to be interested in the work that you're doing.
Exactly.
In order to make it your best.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because otherwise it's just whatever. Something has to go out, and that's never going to be...
That's right. Yeah.
Never going to work.
Well, and so in this case, what I want to do is I just want to be able to, I want to kind of stay on a regular rhythm. I don't want to just be like, well, whenever I feel like it, I'm going to put an episode out.
Yeah.
I just don't want it to be so demanding that it gets to the point where you're like, okay, I'm not keeping up with what I said that I would do, and now I just need to stop doing it again. Mm-hmm. So in this case, I can have a goal. Like in my mind, a goal would be at least twice a month, maybe one on the 1st and one on the 15th, or one, something like that.
Yeah.
And then if I do more than that, then great. And if I do fewer than that, then it's okay, just because I want to, space things out well in a manageable time. So,
well, I mean, I think it's the same way for things that I go through with Race for Research. We have outside lives of our passions,
right?
Unfortunately,
right. Yeah.
But it's what allows us to do stuff like this. So as much as I wish I could quit school and just do Race for Research, I totally would, but it's what's going to allow me to do it long term. So
most people and most of the nonprofits that I've talked with in even Fremont and I've interviewed, it's run mostly by volunteers. You have a few people that are employed, but even, what they're employed, the amount that they're employed for is not enough really to keep them, functioning on a really high economic level.
Right.
So there, it is when you decide that you're going to volunteer for something and you're going to do something, you kind of want it to be something that you just really love and that you are able to make, your thing. So, which you've done with your Race for Research.
All of our board members do not get paid anything. And we've tried to, because obviously all of them come to our event, and we've tried to say, board members will give you your table or tickets at cost. But our board members they say no, we want to pay the full amount, because that's why we're doing this, is because that's the exact purpose, is to raise money for St. Jude. It doesn't feel right. And, I would love eventually in the future, if this is something that does happen to take off that big, to be able to pay them back for all of the work that they've done. But as of right now, they just don't want it, because their hearts are just so in it. And I love it. Yeah. I mean, I want to give them something for it, but they just refuse.
That's awesome. So, yeah. Well, good for you to have a board that is thinking that way.
They're great. Awesome.
That's great.
They're the best.
That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we have some great footage here already, but I'm going to get started. Hey, Fremont, do you know a creative, driven young person that's ready to launch their hustle? The Ohlone College Flea Market is calling all youthpreneurs to be a part of the next event on Saturday, April 12th. Whether it's handmade crafts, collectibles, or one-of-a-kind side hustle, youth vendors are getting a special spotlight this month. And here's the best part. We've got an exclusive discount just for our listeners. When you register for a booth, enter the promo code OFK Podcast 10. That's OFK Podcast 10, and you'll get 10% off your vendor fee. So don't wait. Set up your shop, share your passion, and be a part of a powerful day of community and creativity right here in Fremont. Go to ohlone.edu/flea market to sign up now. I'm excited to just kind of catch up and have a casual conversation.
I know. And it's been
2 years.
2 or 3 years.
No, it's been, I just checked. So, your episode when we recorded our first conversation came out on March 3rd of 2023.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so this is March 7th that we're recording this. So it's almost exactly 2 years ago.
That's crazy.
So yeah. So
yeah, it's crazy.
So so I'm excited about hearing everything that's happened since then. It's so good to see you as
I know.
well. And we got you on camera so everybody else can see you as well. You look great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was like listening to a little bit of my podcast from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God, this time I really need to redeem myself.
Oh, no, it was good. It was, I think everyone who hears themselves on audio recordings or whatever, everyone's like, oh, that's the way I sound. Oh, I hate
God,
it,
my voice. Yeah, that's me. That's definitely me.
I became a critic for a number of reasons. I was a critic of my own, like the way that I, ask questions or the way that I lead conversations, the way that I talk. I'm like, oh man, why did I say that again? Like, why do I repeat myself so much? And so I've become a critic, but the only way you can really, be a good critic is by going back and listening to yourself, and you have to deal with a lot of that. Oh man, do I really sound that way?
Yeah.
So it is nice to actually have an editor where they can just they're the ones listening to your voice. You're not the one.
Oh, you don't have to do it.
I don't
for
have to do it. Yeah,
an hour.
Right, and go back and say, let's cut that out and cut that out. And so anyway, yeah. So when you were here last time, so we determined it was 2 years ago.
Yes.
So when we were here last time, I don't think that you had your first fundraiser.
No.
We were talking about like when your dad used to do it, and it was something that had not been done for decades, right? Yeah. Or at least like 20 years, I think.
He's going to listen to this
and
gonna be like, hate you for that.
He's like, it was at least a century ago.
I'm just kidding. Oh my gosh.
He's gonna,
I'll tell him.
Yeah.
I won't tell him when this comes out. Don't worry.
That's right. So I just remember us having this conversation and talking about this dream and vision that you had of picking up something that your family had been doing, years before, and you were wanting to start doing it yourself.
Yeah.
And so you had not had your first gala, your fundraising event for this Race for Research. And I think that like on Instagram, we might have done a follow-up where we're like, oh, great, this is how much you raised. But we didn't bring a lot of attention to it. So I'm super excited to have you on here because you've already been through 1 year.
Yes.
This one coming up is the third?
Third.
Wow.
Yes, I know.
That's awesome. So first of all, tell me what's new in your life since we last talked. And then let's talk about like how the last two fundraising galas have turned out for you.
Okay.
So what's new in your life?
Minus Race for Research?
Yes, just like in life. Like what are you doing with your spare time?
Well, right now
you don't have spare time, I know, but
I got accepted into St. Mary's College of California in Moraga, and so I'm there on a scholarship. I'm an undergraduate, and I'm studying behavioral neuroscience. So once that's over, I'm hoping to go to med school and then do my residency and eventually become a psychiatrist.
That's
so
awesome.
That's what I'm studying for right now.
So the quick question on that then, like what inspired you to choose that route? Like,
psychiatry?
Yeah.
I have just always I feel like it's very common right now for a lot of people to be very interested in psychology. And that was me in high school. And I took literally every single psych class there was at Livermore High School. And I took an ROP class where I worked with second grade children. And it was called Developmental Psychology of Children. Okay. So I did that every morning. I got to work with second graders in their classroom. And I think that combining my love combining my passion for, I think, helping people and being so exposed to St. Jude and sick children or children in need, and meshing that with my passion for psychology and the human brain, I've just always wanted to do something within psychology, and I want to make a decent living. So right. No, but seriously,
we have to do that,
right?
Yeah, it's important.
But in all seriousness, I've always been extremely interested in the brain as well, brain chemistry and neurobiology. am a total nerd for all of that. I'm not gonna lie, I'll own it. So psychiatry just pointed in my direction, and to be introduced to St. Jude and have all of that, tie in with this, pediatric psychiatry is exactly where I want to be. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Is there anything that I know you're fresh into college, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is there anything that surprised you as far as like choosing this path or getting into college? Anything that like, you know?
I would say, I submitted my application. I got accepted as a psychology student.
Mm-hmm.
And mid first semester, I changed my major to behavioral neuroscience just because it fit more of that psychiatry description. And I just was more interested in that anyways. But I will say, when I did get into St. Mary's, I was really, really excited for the college experience.
Yeah.
And just, meeting new people, going out, and being in a fun dorm.
Yeah.
And I was very excited for the social aspect of it. And I got to St. Mary's.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You were let down.
But
that's awesome.
I got to St. Mary's, and my first night in the dorm was actually like the most peaceful night I've ever had of sleep ever. And that was like my turning point where I was like, oh God, what did I just get myself into? So I have probably been home from college every single weekend.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It's just not a party school.
Yeah.
It's not that kind of school.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
First semester, I was really, really upset about that. And because I just had all these expectations of going out and having, all this fun and making new memories. And, and that's just not how it worked out for me. But I think it was honestly a blessing in disguise because I love it now.
Yeah.
I've really gotten used to the culture of it. And it's really gotten me in tune academically, because I think that if that lifestyle did happen to me, I wouldn't be able to really pursue my passions as well. And I'm grateful that it didn't work out in the way that I intentionally wanted it to, if that makes sense.
You're still finding ways to have fun though, right?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
That's
my
good.
friends are still home. In community college.
That's great. That's great.
But yeah, I've done I did a few visits to Chico, and then Long Beach soon, which should be really fun.
Nice.
So, but not every weekend. I'm really not an every weekend kind of college student. I really can't.
Yeah.
I can't with my major.
Well,
It's
I mean,
just
I think
lot.
too. I mean, I don't know. I went to college late. I was older. I was working a full-time job, and I didn't graduate from college till I was 30. So I was maybe I was a loser. I don't know, but but the thing I think there's something about the college experience that really it helps you discover who you are, and you find yourself in the middle of all of that. So you might have certain expectations where you're like, I want to have this amazing social life. I want to party. I want to do all of this because you don't have that regular experience, going into college.
Right.
But then when you get there and you're like, okay, it didn't quite happen the way that I thought, but then you spend like the first year discovering who you are and like, what is, what does Mick look like in this new setting, and you're like, I'm okay with actually getting a good night of sleep every once in a while and not, out there partying every night, but still being able to hold on to the friendships and the social life that you have in other places.
Right. And it's been such a positive experience. I mean, for a while I thought I was going to transfer after this year, but I have the opportunity to go out and do that when I want to on the weekends. Some of my friends, go to different schools, and I'll school hop.
There you go.
But no, but seriously, it's with what I'm doing and my extracurriculars and my major. I'm a STEM student, so I'm slammed during the week.
Sure.
And all I want to do on the weekends is just sleep,
Relax,
you know,
sleep, yeah.
and throughout high school, I didn't take it seriously enough, to get into, you know, my dream school is Stanford. I'm hoping to do my residency there. Hopefully, we'll see. But, and I just had wished that I had taken it more seriously my senior year.
Yeah.
And so for me now having a new opportunity, I feel like I can redeem myself by taking college more seriously.
Yeah, that's great.
To get into a good med school.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the approach I've had on it this second semester. But yeah, I think everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And I love being close to home. I love being close to my family and my loved ones and my friends.
That's great.
And my dogs, you know. I don't think I would want it any other way, honestly.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think, you know, as you were saying that, I kind of had this idea that I think you might have to, like, I think there's a choose when you're going to pay the cost for the kind of life that you want to have. In other words, you can pay the cost as a freshman and just go out there and party it up, but then you don't get the opportunity of getting into a good med school. You don't get the opportunity of landing these other good, you know, postgraduate, you know, schools or opportunities. And so you paid the cost on the front end when you actually had nothing to offer, you know, versus you do well in undergrad, you land a good med school, land a good graduate school. You're actually making money at some point where you can actually say, now I can actually have fun and I can do this. It's not going to cost me a lot more. And I actually have a lifestyle that will allow me to be able to just enjoy, you know, pick and choose when I want to have a good night out or when I just want to, you know.
Right. And, you know, I have had really, really fun nights out, but for me, it's just what I'm doing now, I think is so much more fulfilling for my life than if I were to be going out doing that every weekend.
Right.
Not saying that I don't like to have a good time.
Right.
But not every weekend. So yeah, I completely agree. And I think that also, you know, I have a long-term goal. I have a long-term vision. And I'm not picking a career that I'm just picking for the money. I'm picking it because it's my passion. It's what I want to do. And, you know, when I think about, you know, maybe I'll do this instead of studying for my tests, it's like, well, what about, you know, what about like my dream?
Where's this going to land me?
It's like, I can't have all these missed opportunities add up and be disappointed that I didn't put enough time into what really matters to me.
That's
know?
Great. I love it.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a little bit about Jennifer Petrocelli of Petrocelli Homes. In 2023, I had the opportunity of working with her directly to help sell a home. An organization that I was working with was trying to sell a home in Fremont, and I recommended that we use Petrocelli Homes as our real estate agent. And I'm going to tell you the process, everything that happened in order to be able to get the house on the market and get it sold was a breeze. Working with Jennifer Petrocelli was one of the best things that we could have done in selling that home. If you are looking to buy or sell a home in the Bay Area, reach out to Jennifer Petrocelli of Petrocelli Homes. You will not regret it. So, wow, that you have a lot going on there. The reason we're here, I guess in some sense, is to find out about your Race for Research and all the efforts that you've done in that. So, what happened on your first two galas that you had? Like, were they success? What did you do? How much did you raise? Like, what did you learn from those?
Our first year in 2023, our goal of our total amount was, I think,
the goal
50,000.
Was the goal 50,000?
50.
Okay.
It was either 30 or 50, I think.
Yeah. I'm sure if we go back and listen to our original episode, which would be episode actually 61.
Okay.
I made sure I knew which one it was. We could probably remember what the goal total was, or the total of the goal was at that time. But
I'm pretty sure it was 50,000.
50,000. Okay.
But I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. And I just remember I was so nervous to find out during the event, because by the end of the night, the end of the gala, we do a big check reveal. So while we're doing our closing remarks, we have about 10 people or so in the back, counting up all this money, all this cash, adding up all of these donations so that we can announce at the end of the night to all of these people what they did and what they raised. And I just remember, oh my gosh, standing on the stage, so nervous because my aunt knew the number and she did not tell me. I was like, what is it?
Did she give you any indication?
No, she was like, I am not telling you. And I was like, this is my thing.
Yeah,
like,
I demand to know.
Me.
Yes. Yeah.
And I just remember.
Is she on the board? Did you threaten to remove her from the board?
I should have.
You should.
I'm going to do that, actually.
There you go.
Yeah.
You need to tell me or else. Yeah.
Yeah, I will. President's orders.
That's right.
So yeah, they revealed the check, and flipped it around and announced $100,000.
Oh my word.
For our first event.
Word.
Like,
that's amazing.
A year ago from that day, I would have never, ever, ever thought in my life that we would have raised $100,000. Because at that time in my life, in 2022, in May, that was a really rough period for me. And that was about when I really started thinking about Race for Research, I think, and just thinking about how it's something that I really wanted to pursue. And to just go from that rough spot and a year later raise $100,000 in 1 year was it just blew my mind. And at that point, it was something where we realized this is not going to be a one-time thing. This is a long-term plan. Like, this is going to become a business.
That's cool.
And so we did it again our second year, and our goal was $100,000. That was a really stressful year because I don't know if you remember, but our first year we had tied the event to a racetrack, and we had a race the following Saturday night.
Right.
And that was our incentive to get people to our event is,
come see the race, participate in that, and then stick around for or was it the opposite way around?
It was come to the event, stick around for the race the next day.
Yeah.
And so for racers, it's a lot for them to just travel up from all over California, just for an event, so we needed that racetrack. And in, I think, around December or January of 2024,
2024.
Yeah. It had closed.
Oh my word.
So I found that out and my heart sunk to the bottom of my stomach.
Body, whatever.
I was so terrified. And I just remember being so scared that event. And they did the check reveal. And
so where did you hold the event? The same place?
Oh, same place.
Okay.
Yeah, because we had already, by that point in December, we had already placed the hold on the ballroom since August of 2024.
So there was just no race then?
No.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was really scary because how do you advertise and how do you get people to your event when you don't, people don't want to drive 3 hours to an event, and that's understandable.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a toss-up, like, however it goes, it goes. And if it's not as successful as the year before, you have this reason.
Yeah.
And a lot of people told me that, and I couldn't accept it.
Yeah.
It was so heartbreaking to me to have that potential to have that event jeopardized in some way. And it was so, I was devastated. I was so nervous. But anyway, fast forward
to the check reveal.
Yes. And this time my aunt let me watch her draw in the numbers on the check. And I just saw 1, and then I saw 3, and then I saw 0, and I just
You're like,
lost my mind. I was on stage crying so hard.
Wow.
We had raised $130,000.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
To come from that struggle and raise more than we did even the first year was just incredible. So at this point, we've raised over $250,000 in 2.5 years.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
It has been the most positive experience of my life.
That's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think a lot of other people's too.
Yeah.
I think it's something that this community really needed.
That's
to
awesome.
See. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we're on the verge of the 3rd annual event, correct?
Yeah.
So what is the date for this? This is May
9th. So May 9th, it's a Friday night, and then we are having a race this year.
Okay.
So I know it's a little far from Fremont, but we did move it down to the Central Valley in Lemoore.
Okay.
It's a small town near Hanford, Tulare. Do you know where I'm?
I know where the Central Valley is.
A lot of people don't know where Lemoore is. That's okay.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is we have, Google Maps or whatever. Right. We can get there. We can find it.
It's 30 minutes away from Fresno, I think.
Okay.
But it's at the Tachi Palace Casino Resort.
Okay.
It's a really nice Indian Reserve resort.
Okay.
Beautiful. It's gorgeous. And what's exciting is that we've outgrown their ballroom space so much that we've actually had to move our event to the bingo hall.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
So we'll see how many tickets we sell this year. I definitely think it's going to be a sellout at 400.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
how many have you had in the previous how many tickets have you sold for the previous events?
We have sold out both events at 300.
Oh wow. Okay.
This year the capacity of the ballroom is 750.
Okay.
We're aiming for 400 because a lot of the families are going to be new. Moving it down there, it's a whole new culture down there of people.
Yeah, it presents a whole different list of challenges, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah. And, Bay Area people and Central Valley people are very different. In the best way possible.
Yeah.
But, so we'll see how people respond to it. But I think just giving it room to grow, I think we are going to put a capacity of 400 on it this year. So it's definitely like first come, first serve on tickets. But yeah, what
do these events look like? Like, I think we talked about this before, but it's been 2 years, right? Mm-hmm. So what do the events look like for the gala? Like, what kind of things, if people buy a ticket, they show up, if I buy a ticket and show up, like, what am I expecting? Like, what am I going to be doing? What's my, what do I have to look forward to?
Right. I'll just go through the agenda of the night.
Yeah.
So basically, people show up. We'll open the doors to the ballroom and we'll have a silent auction of over 100 auction items.
Okay.
They're not just all racing. We have trips and beauty items, food items, memorabilia, sports things, anything you can think of. There's something there for everyone.
Right.
Experiences, everything. And after the silent auction closes, then everybody will go to the ballroom in the gala. Everyone will take their seats, and I will be doing a short opening speech this year.
Okay. And
then we will have dinner. We'll do some really cool things with the celebrity waiters. One thing that we do is each waiter. I should probably mention this. Okay. Actually, so I'm saying celebrity waiters because they are actually our very own race car drivers.
Okay.
They sign up to serve dinner to all of the guests who come. So we all dress up in our fire suits and we serve a salad, a dinner, and a dessert.
Okay.
And one thing that we do that's really cool to raise money is we have a tip jar for every driver on the table that they're serving. And it's funny because they get so competitive with their tips because the waiter who raises the most amount in their tip jar wins a free custom fire suit, which is at value of like, I think it's either $1,200 or $1,700.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it gets really
so it's something to
competitive.
Compete for sure.
Oh yeah, it's
that's awesome.
Crazy. We
that's
have
cool.
All the little kids who do it. They run around with their tip jars and they're like asking people they're like, can you spare some change?
That's awesome.
And yeah, so that is really fun to see. And the little girl who's won it the last 2 years, she's won it both years in a row. Her dad's wife, her mom, is on the Race for Research board. And oh my gosh, they ask so many sponsors for money. I swear she's raised like $4,000 in her tip jar.
Oh my word. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Wow.
like, what are you doing? She has like 5 suits.
Well, you need to, like, as soon as she becomes old enough, you obviously need to hire her to be a part of the board.
She can put this on her
exactly.
resume.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
She can like.
I have raised the most amount of tips every year.
Yeah, she'll get a job at a restaurant
That's
really,
right.
really fast.
That's right.
But yeah, so anyway, we do that, and then after dinner, we're gonna have a really cool speech with an ex St. Jude patient. Her story is absolutely incredible. Her name is Tiara Her, and she was a St. Jude patient when she was 5, 6, 7. She was diagnosed with neuroblastoma.
Wow.
And this was when research was still pretty new. So she was in a group of other children just like her with neuroblastoma, and they tried all these different methods to try to cure them. And she was allergic to this one study that they did, or one, what am I trying to say? This one procedure that they did.
Yeah.
And she was the only one allergic, and she was the only one who survived.
Oh, my word.
So
wow.
she was a huge part of developing research in that way to show people this is what works and this is what doesn't work. So she is just a miracle that she's here today.
That's crazy.
She attended my dad's event back in the day, so she has huge ties to us. So she's going to be doing a speech introducing somebody else who has a similar story.
Yeah.
And then after that, we'll do a fund a need. So people who want to do donations or anything like that, and we'll also have a live auction. I think some of our live auction items this year are a street bike valued at $8,000.
Oh, my word.
I know.
Cool.
It's really cool.
Wow.
Trips to Vegas and Bali, and I'm trying to think of what else. We were going to do the Country Music Awards, but they got canceled this year. I know. Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Crazy?
That is crazy.
But yeah, we have a night in the pits with a really well-known sprint car driver.
Nice.
Super, super cool
That's
stuff.
awesome.
So something there for everyone. And then we'll do closing remarks and the check reveal.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So it's going to be a really fun night. It's pretty much the same format that it's always been, just some new material.
Yeah.
And we have a great MC. His name is Caleb Hart. He announces for some of the biggest micro sprint races there are in the country. And he's amazing. He works at my biggest sponsor's company, Joe's Racing Products.
Okay.
So he's super close to my family. He's amazing. We have an amazing auctioneer we hired this year. His name is Freddie, and he is so funny and so entertaining.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Sounds like you're picking the right group of people to make this happen.
It's picking up. Yeah, we're definitely getting some more experience to know what our event needs to make it better, I think. Yeah.
Do you have any nerves going into this year? I know you had like a change with the race being canceled, and I guess you're moving into a new event space, so that's obviously going to create a little bit of uncertainty. But any nerves going into this? A little bit?
I have a few. Yeah. I have a lot different than I've had the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. I feel like within the last 2 years, it's more so of, are people going to like it? Are people going to donate? Are people, is this something where people are going to want to come back?
Yeah.
And obviously, it's proven to be a huge hit. I do have a little bit of nerves because this is almost a completely brand new group being in the Central Valley.
Okay.
This is about 3 hours away from where our previous event was, and this is a whole new group of drivers. Yeah. So, lot different people, but I think that it will be something they really enjoy. Cool. I think this group will have a lot of fun with it. I think my main concern is probably our formatting for this year. It's a big ballroom, or it's a big bingo hall, space, so it's hard to make that look good. Yeah. So we're gonna do our best. We've hired decorating services and gotten tons of donations on how to really make it look like a formal gala, because this is not something that we want to look like a spaghetti feed or a banquet. Right. I mean, this is like, our philosophy is you spend $100. You're going to get your money's worth. You're going to get a good dinner. You're going to get an incredible night and incredible memories that you're going to remember forever. This is not, you put a ticket in a basket and see who's drawn. This is a really formal event. This is a gala. So
that's great.
Yeah, I think just being in a new space is always nerve-wracking, I think.
That's cool. So since you've raised these funds over the last couple of years, and these monies have been given to St. Jude's, like, have you seen, I know it was kind of your vision that you wanted to recapture 2 years ago and to make this a reality, as you've been able to maybe experience giving those monies to St. Jude and being able to see what they're accomplishing. What has inspired you to continue to keep doing this? Like, have you been able to go and see what the money that you have raised is going toward, and how has that affected you personally as you continue to look at doing these into the future?
Yeah. So in June of 2024, I had the most incredible opportunity probably of my life. St. Jude had invited me and my dad to go back to the hospital in Memphis in Tennessee for a new generation event.
Okay.
And the event was not super targeted towards me. I was still I was had graduated.
Just graduating,
as a senior of high school. And so this was mainly fraternities and sororities who were there to kind of learn how to embrace philanthropy within their fraternity or sorority. And so I was put with the college students, but I'm not in a fraternity or sorority, so I was just kind of walking around. And I have a really good friend, Hollis Belger, who does another St. Jude nonprofit called Juggling for Jude. She's raised almost $1 million.
Oh, my word.
So,
that's cool.
Incredible person. Yeah. And so she was there as well. So we kind of teamed up the entire week and really stuck together. But anyway, I got to see and listen to guest speakers, panels, patients, the most incredible speakers I've ever heard in my life. One thing that really, really, really stuck out to me was I got to hear St. Jude's CEO speak, and it was, he is just such an admirable man. One thing he said that really, really stuck with me always, that I'm going to even incorporate into my own speech this year, is live charitably. It doesn't even mean just to like donate to St. Jude or give them $20 a month for a t-shirt. You know, it genuinely means live charitably. Every once in a while, pay for the person behind you, pay for their coffee, spread joy into the world. Seriously, you never know who is struggling. That's great. Never know, what people are going through. And just imagine the world now, how much better of a place it would be if everybody did a small action every day.
That's great.
Seriously, when those things happen to you, it sticks with you forever.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Or it makes your day, right?
Yeah.
So living charitably is something that I have really tried to incorporate into my lifestyle.
Yeah.
And my friend Hollis, she had a panel as well talking about how her passion of soccer has helped her raise money for St. Jude. Basically, she kicks a soccer ball and juggles a soccer ball. She has like the world record or something.
Oh, wow.
She can juggle a soccer ball for like an hour and a half or
That's
something.
Amazing.
It's crazy.
Wow, that's cool.
But her, panel was just saying, use your passions to provide purpose in your life. And that is something that I've always stressed personally too. I resonate with that so much because I have used racing to pursue Race for Research, which has given me fulfillment and passion and purpose in my life.
Yeah.
I genuinely think that to live charitably, this fulfills that purpose, if that makes sense.
That's great.
So I really don't think I'm ever going to stop. And being at the hospital, you see these sick kids on TV, but when you're there in person, it's like, it's real. It's all awesome. Real. You see the children playing on the playgrounds with their moms, and it's heartbreaking, but also you don't think of it like that way in the moment, because St. Jude is just, I've talked to people about it and they're like, what? It's just a hospital. You know, why are you getting so like worked up over this? It's just a hospital. I'm like, no, you don't understand.
Right.
It's not just a hospital.
Yeah.
It's this incredible space that Danny Thomas, the original founder, I mean, it's where any child can be cured of cancer for no cost.
Wow.
No matter where you are from, what your background is. I mean, they don't care who you are. If you need treatment, it's there. You can get it. And to spread that research, I mean, they have hundreds of rooms for research. They have one building that I think is 15 stories tall. It's a research building. They have another research building, and they're currently building a 17-story research building right now.
Wow.
And I got to tour one of them. It's incredible. And I can't even put into words like how beautiful this place really is.
That's awesome.
I really wish that it was something everyone got to experience, but and I mean, it's just so inclusive of everybody. When you walk in to the main research building, the first thing you see is flags hung up on the ceiling of every single country patients have come from, if that makes sense. Yeah, for sure. Workers are from international countries. Wow. Doctors, all these things. It's amazing. They're K Cafe. It's their main cafe in the main hospital. Yeah. And they do not have a separate cafe for patients and doctors. Oh. All patients and doctors, they eat together. That's all great. The nurses, so you can full on have a meal with your doctor. That's great. It's incredible. That's cool. You know, there's this one story that really sticks out to me. I hope you don't mind me rambling about this. No, this is great. I love it. This is what. Well, you know, I mean, this is it, because it's like you focus on the raising the funds part of it, which is important. I mean, right. It's one of the things that you've been inspired to do, but then it's like, you want to make sure, and I think for people listening that are also interested in potentially giving funds and showing up as well, they want to know like what happens when I give, like where does it go, what's the result. And I love that there's kind of like just lit us, this spark, lit a fire, and you're just like, let me tell you about it all, so tell me this. Yeah, tell me the story. Yeah, it's just it's just everything to me. Good, good. I try not to talk about it because I'm not like a super corny person, but it truly is like, this experience is truly the reason why I've based my life and my future off of, if that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, it was that impactful for me. That's amazing. Yeah. Anyway. K Cafe. Yes. So there was this little boy, I guess, who he was super, super sick, and I forget what kind of cancer he had, but he did not want anything that the chef had to make, nothing on the menu. And this little boy from Louisiana, all he wanted was his grandma's mac and cheese. And he told the chef how to make it, and the chef tried, and the kid did not like it. He wouldn't eat it. Yeah. So the chef contacted his grandma, called her from Louisiana, and she sent him the recipe. Oh, wow. The chef made this little boy his mac and cheese, and he ate it. Oh, my word. I mean, but it's just those little things. You know what I mean? Because when your child is going through something as terrible as cancer, I mean, it is so hard to feel like you can live a normal life. I mean, seriously, we, as a healthy person, I take it so for granted. Oh, yeah. We all do. Right, exactly. And you can't even have a meal that you crave. Yeah, that's right. And for St. Jude to design their practices off of making these children feel like they are at home or as normal as they possibly can feel, it's something that I got to see in person, and it's amazing. I mean, that's why people go into St. Jude and they say, I don't feel sad when I walk through St. Jude. I feel hopeful. That's great. I feel happy, and I feel like this is a positive place, right? It's not a sad, dark hospital, and it's hope. It's hope. That living charitably is
like realized in that space, you know,
Yeah.
for a chef to do that sort of thing. You know, he's not just doing it because it's his job. He's going way out of his way to do something that he's not being necessarily paid to do or asked to do specifically. Right. He's just living charitably.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that when St. Jude, you know, hires their employees, that's got to be like a check mark on their resume that they have to have, because I swear every single person who works there is so moved by the cause. It is not a place where, you know, they're working there for the good pay. They're working there because, you know, it's a nice hospital. Yeah. They're not working there because it's prestigious. They're working there because it's their passion. It's their livelihood. Yeah. I mean, and when you see it in person, you become so touched by everything there. It's like the most, I truly wish that I could just like take my experience and just be
share
able
it with
to,
everybody.
right?
Yeah.
But I can't.
Yeah.
And it's just so hard.
But you're taking your experience and letting it, you know, fuel the fire that you have behind what you're doing to make a difference. That's amazing.
Yeah. And it's amazing. I mean, to put in all that effort and, you know, people saying that they don't know where their money goes. Well, it goes to all of these children who feel like something is wrong with them, which you know, physically there is, but mentally you can feel like something's wrong with you. And that's a really hard feeling to go through. Yeah. But to have that normality is just so mentally important for these children to not become, you know, depressed in a hospital while they're sick. Yeah. It's incredible how they've considered what these patients go through. I mean, these patients are not patients in St. Jude's eyes. They're family.
That's great. I love that.
They care about these children just as much as they would their own family. And it's amazing to see. I've seen, you know, when I was there, I got to hear about how they have a music studio there for children who like to play instruments and record songs and all these different things. And they have a recording studio so patients can sing in there or record whatever in there. But they also use it, you know, if a child is going to pass away, they use that recording studio to record that child's heartbeat.
Wow.
To give it to their parents. I know.
That's crazy.
It's I mean, the things that they think of to comfort people is just incredible, how they consider, you know, other people's feelings.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
wow.
I mean, truly, it's incredible.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for sharing all that.
Yeah,
that's
I know.
Really cool.
I know that was a lot. You can cut that down if you need
fine.
to.
That's good.
I totally rambled on there.
Yeah, no, that's great. I love it. Yeah, I really love it. Well, I'm glad that you're inspired, and I'm excited to see how your fire for all of this, your excitement for all of this, really pushes your efforts forward. And I really, I really hope that the fundraising effort that you're doing this year is a big win. Yeah. For you, for, you know, Race for Research, but also for these kids. You know?
I mean, that's the reason why we do it.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, I really, you know, I was really trying to think of what I wanted to say in my opening speech this year. Yeah. And I really settled on, I don't want to do something sappy. I don't want to do, I mean, not sappy, but I don't want to do something sad. I don't need to tell a story for somebody else this time. I want to take my experience this time and inspire other people with that. Great. Because that is what's going to make this go a long ways in other people's heads. That's right. So I think it's going to be our most emotionally impactful year. Definitely.
Wow, that's great. Well, you are already inspiring. I love.
Thank you.
Yeah, you are, and I have no doubt that, you know, years down the road, the work that you're doing, both for Race for Research and for these kids, and then also the work that you're doing to become the person that you're going to be. You know, psychiatrist. You know. Wherever that takes you, I know that it's going to be amazing. And I get a chance. I'll probably be sitting in my lounger somewhere someday and saying, I interviewed her and I was there when she did,
Oh my gosh.
when she was in high school, and I remember doing that. And I remember, so I'll get the opportunity to point out and say, she was making a difference back when I knew her, and she's still making a difference today.
Thank
So that's
you.
going to be really cool. So
Thank
very
you.
cool. So if people are interested in knowing more about Race for Research, what's the best place to, contact or to access the information?
Yeah, we're on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram is SJ Race for Research, and then Facebook is just Race for Research. And our logos will come up in our accounts. We only have one account, so and then we have a website. It's www.raceforresearch/maxgiving.bid or something. I don't know.
We can add it to the show notes too, and people can access it.
Perfect.
Through that, so
and then we also have an email. It's just sjraceforresearch@gmail. So, but most people will message us on Facebook or Instagram. It's just easy.
That's great.
So yeah.
So one last question before you go: are you still racing?
Yeah, I don't know what it's been. I have gotten this question so much this year.
Oh, that's
yeah,
funny.
I think it's because I've just been super busy.
Well, your life changes. You go to college and you have all these other things going on.
Yeah.
It was a fun high school sport, right? And are you going to keep doing that?
Yeah, I 100%. I could not think of giving it up.
Yeah.
At this point in my life, maybe when I go to med school, and life starts becoming life.
You need to be able to you need to let off some steam. I need to go to the racetrack in med school, I'm sure. So
well, hopefully,
that's
if
right.
I have the time. No, seriously.
Yeah.
I definitely want to keep racing. I already have a new car being put in the works right now, being built,
all right.
Put together. It's a Joe's.
Are you gonna be racing after the gala
Yes,
the next?
yes,
Are you?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
I know. I feel like I have
Very
to.
good.
You know what I mean?
Of course. Yeah.
But yeah, so I have a 2025 Joe's Racing Products chassis. They just came out with it this year, so I'm gonna be running that this year.
Nice.
And then same deal, same
awesome.
Yeah, same schedule, and running in the Central Valley now. So
great. That's awesome. Well, it was great having you on here again.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your heart, your passion, your stories. And I hope we get to do this again. And
I know.
if I get a chance, I'm going to try to come out there to the gala. I've wanted to do it every year. Every time I've seen it, I'm like, oh, I need to get to that. And I'm gonna try to make it work this year.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
And we have a hotel room discount rate because it is at a hotel.
Sure.
So a lot of people will stay the night that night. And I think our code is you have to call Tachi and just say, I want to use code Race for Research, and they'll give you a discount on your room. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Good to spend some time with you.
I know, it's so good to catch up finally.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like it's been way too long.
It has been.
Yeah.
It has been, yeah. So good luck, and hopefully we'll see you around some more.
Thank you.
Yeah.